Hawa watu wa Azimio wawaje kutuongelesha mambo ya track record ya serikali yetu. Track record ya hii serikali, sisi we will claim every credit ya ile kazi imefanywa na hii serikali, kwa sababu sisi ndio tulichagua Uhuru Kenyatta awe rais wa Kenya na kura zetu. Watu wa Azimio, they have no share in the achievements of this government because they were nowhere when we were forming this government.
That's Deputy President, excuse me, President William Ruto speaking right there. He was in Meru. No, that should be, yeah, that was Meru. But Senator Kangata, you said something that is quite interesting of how that, yes, he is the principal assistant in law, but in fact not. But how then does he convince the voters that you will take credit for the Jubilee government, but also distancing yourself from the failures or the misses of the second term?
You know, most of the achievements of Jubilee governments were planned in the first term. You see, when you see a road in your village, you must know it's not usually done within a minute. There has to be planning and budgeting and a huge cycle that definitely was conceptualized in the first term. But immediately after the handshake, we started seeing things changing. The prices of basic food commodities went up. We started seeing a government that is using money to mutilate our constitution and negate various democratic gains by creating an imperial presidency. So we started seeing so many negative things. And therefore, it is quite right for us to claim credit for the good things that were conceptualized and planned in the first term. But immediately after the handshake, things started going south.
So in your view, what are the positives that have been implemented in the second term?
Second term? Nothing.
No, you said they were planned in the first term, implemented in the second term.
Oh, thank you.
So what are those that you're taking pride in that have been implemented in the second term?
Roads, definitely. You will find several roads. Even where I come from in Murang'a County, we have seen several infrastructural programs which have been, by the way, partly they were commenced in the first term, but they were finished in the second term. I can name several roads in my county, from all the way from Gatanga constituency up to Madhya and Keharu constituency, and even Kigumo, Kandara, everywhere. Definitely, you will see several roads which have been done by this government. And they were all discussed and conceptualized in the first term. Another best example, let's say taking Murang'a as an example, would be the various water projects that are in that county. Remember, in the first time, we had a tussle with the national government when they started taking water away from Murang'a to Nairobi. And we protested. We said that is very unfair. And they promised us they are going to institute several water projects. And some of those projects were done in the second term. And therefore, to a certain extent, what the Deputy President is saying is correct. They were conceptualized in the first time. Some of them begin in the first term, but quite a number of them were completed in the second.
Does any of this credit go to the President?
Yes, you see, and you must understand how we view the President. Those of us in UDA, we are not in competition with him. And therefore, really, we can't really go negative against him because he's not our competitor at the end of the day. Yes, we strongly believe he has been unfair to the Deputy President, to various leaders who support him. But at times, we think that the problem has been embedded by Baba. He's the one behind all our missiles.
Honorable Boss, is this factual, or it's perception, or it's something that is geared towards convincing the voters towards the side of the Deputy President?
No, before she answers that, I know it's Baba. I know. I can speak with authority.
Okay, so is it factual? It's just politics that you're witnessing here? That
the Deputy President is owning the successes?
No. Because he just gives a list of some of the things that have happened in the second term. He actually mentions within Murang'a County. There's been this narrative that the President sort of deserted his home backyard. So when the Deputy President on several times comes and says that the union, the handshake. Raila Odinga came and disrupted the programs of the government. Is it factual?
Yes, it is a fact.
That there are several projects that have been implemented.
It is a fact. Like we said, all the road network, the electricity and so on was also conceptualized in the first term and rolled out over a period of the 10 years. And it's being rolled out up to now. So yes, and we know that at the first term, the person who used to hold the meetings to make sure that these projects actually take off was William Ruto. He was the force behind the actual implementation of the programs. And then when the second term started, I still remember very clearly, we were called to, we would have meetings in State House under the Big Four agenda. The president had businessmen, top businessmen in the country, in State House together with the chairpersons of departmental committees from the National Assembly, and he was asking at that time, what is it we can do so that we can create more employment? And most of the business people said, you know, the cost of electricity is causing them problems. They talked about the fact that their VAT refunds are not done on time. And I remember I was instrumental in making sure that the government did in fact put in money aside in the budget to ensure that the business people were actually refunded. And then by 2018, mid-2018, all that stopped completely. Uhuru Kenyatta stopped thinking about the Big Four agenda, never held those meetings again. I know, because I used to attend them before. Stopped having those meetings, and all he was thinking about was BBI. That is when all his focus was the 9-point agenda, the task force. Money was now put into the task force to try and go around the country to develop this constitutional amendment that they wanted to have. He was focused about it. When they lost it in court, they were focused again. All government resources and thinking was focusing on how they can get BBI reinstated at the Court of Appeal, and they continue to focus on it. So Uhuru Kenyatta lost track. He never talked about Big Four, never held the meeting.
Have you seen any implementation of programs?
Of the Big Four?
Within your county, of whatever nature?
Yes, I mean, I've seen the road network, the bypasses that have been built. Yes, and I've seen the connections of the electricity. But all that started in the first term. They are being completed now.
Haman, how should Kenyans look at this? Does it even matter? Or it's now just a question about politics and whatever information politicians can get out there?
Some, by and large, voters don't look at development. If you are defending your term as an MP and you think because of what you have done, people will vote you back, quite often you get disappointed. But having said that, I like the way our two colleagues here are struggling to talk ill of their government. It's very interesting. Including,
we're not talking ill. We are actually saying Uhuru Kenyatta lost focus. Have you ever heard him talk about the Big Four now? Allow him to respond.
That is my interpretation, including Gladys Boss, your logical fallacy. That Uhuru Kenyatta stopped having meetings merely because you, Gladys Boss Soleil, is not attending. That is a fallacy, a logical fallacy. I mean, the meetings could go on without you attending, but that's beside the point. The contradiction here is this, Sam. Yes, it is true you are part of government, and because you are part of government, the success of that government, nobody can deny you. But it must also be equally true that the failures of that government, you're also part of it. If you are to do a scorecard and look at the failures of Jubilee, you will find most of them domiciled in the first term. Mega corruption. And this then you must also take a share of the same. You see what I'm saying? So I think these people have a big problem. And sometimes I ask them, why can't they employ me as an advisor? They are playing into the hands of Uhuru Kenyatta. The things they are saying, even what they have said on this show now, their votes they are losing. Because if you are seen to be attacking Uhuru Kenyatta, and we come from this, we live in this country. Everybody in this country has their own people. Kila mtu ni mtu ya watu. Tunaelewana hapo Sam? Unanielewa kwa Kiswahili? I know you don't know Kiswahili. What I'm trying to say in English is,
I report in Swahili. What do you mean?
Uhuru Kenyatta has his honors. He's a son of some people. or some part of the soil. You get what I'm saying? So when you say bad things about it, they are not in your interest. This I would have advised them. Be very careful about the kind of things they say. And you cannot say the things that are happening now, which we are all seeing. We are seeing things happening. My standards are so high, so I don't see any development in this. But if I were to use ordinary eyes, ordinary standards, we can see things happening. Anybody can see, including primary school kids. So now, the only way you can explain them is to say that they were conceptualized in the first time. But that's how governments work. Many of the things you did in the first time were conceptualized during the Kibaki time. That's how governments work. The lawyers here will talk of perpetual succession. So the things Kibaki planned, some of them have been implemented by Uhuru Kenyatta. Kibaki implemented some of the things that were there during the Moi's time, including free primary education. It's not even a Kibaki idea. Ask Kalonzo Musyoka when he was in charge of education. That's how governments work. Now, there's one danger with this narrative. The narrative that nothing happens now from 2018, that all good things either were implemented in the first term or were conceptualized in the first term and therefore they are merely being implemented. The danger of that is actually what a thinking human being gets to understand. And Gladys Bosley almost said it. She just corrected herself that Uhuru Kenyatta was just asleep. That is William Ruto was chairing everything. And what you are saying is, then it is William Ruto who did all these things in the first term, because now when he's not there, they are not being done. But you are also saying a very dangerous thing. You are also saying that President Uhuru Kenyatta is so useless that he cannot not do anything on his own. And this narrative has been peddled. It is still under the water. But you know, it will come on the surface. Somebody mentioned it yesterday. I can't remember who it is. I think on a TV show. I think this TV or some other show. I had somebody mention it yesterday. But it's under the water. That people are saying Uhuru is like this, he's like this. And for that reason, for being that, William Ruto, it's a very dangerous narrative, because to then eat into you, you have better check yourselves. You have better know when you say things, people have the capacity to interpret what you are saying. So I really sympathize with them, because you cannot separate the good from the bad when they come from one source.
Right.
And you cannot deny one fact. We are living under a Uhuru Kenyatta administration. You see, Kenya have elected only one president, and his name is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Whatever he does as president. Successes are Uhuru Kenyatta successes, failures are Uhuru Kenyatta successes with his team. That must be understood clearly. And that's why people have been saying, if you are so sure things have become so bad in the second term that nothing is happening, what are you doing in that government?
Fred, we've heard the president say that since the handshake, he's been able to achieve so much than he did in the first time, and that would appear to be driving the conversation that Deputy President William Ruto is coming up with, and saying that you cannot deny me the successes of this government. So when Kenyans, as they consider where they are going to cast their vote, that fraction that they have to look at the progress made, how should they judge Deputy President and how should they judge Raila Odinga?
Thanks, Sam. The Jubilee scorecard is a mixed one. And I don't think the president lied when he said that in the second term of his leadership, he has achieved more. You know, when the president was elected, when they were going for election, the president nominated William Samoei Ruto as his running mate. They were joined at the hip as the dynamic duo, Uhuru-Ruto. And I agree with Professor Manyora when he says that the successes of President Kenyatta are the successes of William Ruto. And their challenges, I don't want to call them failures, they are challenges. They also share their challenges. But Honorable Boss said that most of these projects that we are seeing today were conceptualized before, probably in the first term. Manyora says some of them were conceptualized earlier. The question is in the implementation. Remember, the deputy president has got a constitutional duty to to be the principal assistant to the president, and in doing so must perform those functions, execute them, the function of the president. So it is important to know that when the president says that he has achieved more and the deputy president say he has been sidelined in the second term, it means that the deputy president absconded duty as the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Number two, Sam, it is also important that the people who are attacking President Kenyatta today for having found new partners. You know, the president found new partners when the deputy president abandoned him. He found new partners.
What came first? Was he abandoned first, or
I think
or
the
he got new
president.
partners?
I think president was abandoned first. Because when he realized that they have conceptualized these ideas together, and now the implementation was becoming a challenge, because the deputy president, our good friend William Ruto, had focused on winning the election. So he started campaigning. The president went for other partners in the name of Raila Odinga.
The swearing-in of the second term was on 28th of November 2017. So when did the deputy president desert the president?
Some. By their fruits, you will know them. When the deputy president said that he will be seeking to get the leadership of this country come the next election, which we are now approaching, that was a red flag. Because you cannot focus on the next election while you have got work to do. And in my personal view, I think it is at that point when the president realized that the big agenda, the big plan that they promised the people of Kenya, 1 million jobs, and all these other great things were not going to be achieved. And therefore, it was prudent for him to go and look for partners that would help him implement that. And I was just telling you before you interjected that, look at the partners that the president found. He found partners outside his party. Today, the reason why deputy president is feeling that, you know, is being denied the successes of this government is because he has seen that Kenyans will be voting based on the performance of that leader. But
whose performance? Because the contenders, the top two contenders are Raila Odinga and William Ruto. So
I'm not sure if that's true. I'm not sure if that's true.
I said the top. Based on various opinion polls.
Okay. But I was saying the performance of this government, you know, in sustainable development, you cannot quantify as such. But Manyora said, ordinary people are looking at structures. People in Kenya believe that the structures that are currently being developed, those are structures that Uhuru Kenyatta initiated with William Ruto, but implemented with other partners. And therefore, that's what I'm saying. When you see partners around Uhuru Kenyatta, when they go for meetings and they say, our job is to ensure that unity comes with development, while his deputy goes to the rally and say that mtajua amjui, then it means that the president is keen on working with those who are going to enhance and sustain that legacy. Those people have been identified. They have been identified in Raila Odinga. They have been identified in the Oka principle because we have seen them before. And that's why we're saying going forward.
I hear you. I just need to close this question. Herman, in your view, who left who? Was it when the deputy president is thought to have taken his own path? Was it a reaction to something, or did he decide, like he alludes? And was the president looking for a plan after being deserted, or he was making his move out of his own motion in going for the handshake with Raila Odinga?
I think you can only understand this within the context of politics. These are politicians, and they are playing politics. They came together in a marriage of convenience in 2012, 2013. Uhuru had his own ideas. Ruto also si mtu wa kulala. He knew what was going on. So I don't think anybody here left the other. What we shall be treated to politics and excuses, but the main reasons will not be told. I am sure there is going to be some revelation from Uhuru Kenyatta, but I can only understand that from the context of politics. I don't think there is anything that Ruto could have done that would have made him the preferred successor to Uhuru Kenyatta. Even if he remained meek and humble and singing praises to Uhuru Kenyatta, the way all the VP vice presidents have done, I highly doubt that.
Why?
I highly doubt. Because Uhuru has his own game plan. And some of us can see the game plan from far. And in that game plan, William Ruto doesn't fit anywhere. But the thing I'm seeing and trying to say, Sam, is this. You know, we have children in this country, and some of us have grandchildren. And we have a country, and a country must develop a culture that is, you know, by values. I expect when a deputy president finds it difficult to work with the president, forget about the reasons. Don't ask me for the reasons. Don't ask me who started who. When a man and a woman have issues, you can never know. You can never know where the problem lies. Maybe one is a better storyteller. That's why people will believe them. The thing is, I want us to teach our children and grandchildren good manners, that politics is not a place where you have heaps of bad manners. I believe if you accept to be somebody's deputy, you must know there are three things in succession. Number one is loyalty. Number two is loyalty. Number three is loyalty. Then others can follow after that. The moment you realize and you come to the conclusion that you cannot work with somebody as his deputy, wherever it is, in an organization, in a school, whatever it is always in the interest of that institution, or in the interest of the country in this case, for you to step aside and let the man continue with what you believe is wrong. Let other people help him do the things you know are wrong. As you chart your own path and openly say, because of the wrong things you are doing in this country, as a president, I'm challenging you to correct those wrongs. This is the kind of politics I want our leaders to, because we are teaching our children bad manners, that you can disagree with your boss at that level and still remain in office. I really draw a lot of from Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. When he realized there was nothing he was doing, that short letter you see, nothing, a one paragraph letter, that says you've left me here and I'm earning salary for nothing. What will Kenyans say? Kenyans may not tell William Ruto today he's doing wrong because of the politics, but in the future, history will judge him extremely harshly. That you are able to draw a salary from a poor country, draw allowances and drive big vehicles for doing nothing.
But
in
he
a
says,
poor country where people are dying, because of lack of basic things.
But Haman, he has said that as principal assistant to the president, he will execute what the president has asked him to execute.
But I'm saying the moment lawyers talk of constructive dismissal, if somebody acts in a manner to tell you that I've dismissed you, and because he doesn't have the power to dismiss you by law, you simply walk out because you've been dismissed already. So Ruto was dismissed long time ago by Uhuru Kenyatta. He should have done the honorable thing. And I have nothing against Ruto. In fact, I like the guy. He's a very good guy. But what I'm saying, what are we teaching our children?
Okay, I hear you, Haman. Let's listen to what Kalonzo Musyoka has been saying about talks with like-minded persons, parties, formations. Listen.
But I can assure you, as Gideon Moya is saying, we are talking to like-minded leaders. And in particular, I've made it clear, we are talking to President Uhuru Kenyatta. You may be thinking he's going away, but he's busy strengthening Jubilee. Everybody knows the story of me and Raila Odinga. Who doesn't? 10 political years.
Mnakumbuka mimi mara mbili tumeshinda tena hatukushinda. Hii ni siasa ina gani? Safari tunataka tushinde raundi moja, dunia nzima ijue tumeshinda. Wangapi watakubali hiyo?
Tumeshinda hatukushinda. I don't know what that means, but Fred, as you said something that on 25th you'll be having what meeting?
On 25th of this month, we shall unveil the OCA coalition leadership. We shall unveil the OCA symbol. We shall proceed and register OCA as a coalition with the registrar of political parties.
The same day?
Absolutely.
When so now let me say,
coalition
calendar, that is on that is on Friday.
On 25th.
That's Friday, right? So after that, you said that you're going to meet with other like-minded formations, attend their NDCs. Who are these?
Some. You have listened to His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka speak. I'm sure you have listened to Gideon Moi speak before also. And they're speaking from the same page. What we are saying as OCA is that we know for a fact that we have people out there that we are ideologically alike in terms of how we think, in terms of objectives and principles. Those are the people that we are seeking their support. And also, we have put it clear that there is a no-go zone. We are saying the yellow fever is a no-go zone. We're not going to go there.
So let me make it easy for you. On 25th, 26th, I think there's NDC of Jubilee Party and I think ODM. So which ones are you going to
We wish them the best in the NDCs like they wished us. But we are saying we must finish our house first by putting it in order. And once we do that, then we shall proceed. Because negotiations, as a matter of fact, must be done in a very honest manner. And they have been going on.
So those are the NDCs you'll attend?
Yes, we shall attend on invitation. As we are now, the indications that invitations will be coming. And we have no worry about that because we have told anyone trying to negotiate with us that they must be structured, they must be open, they must be transparent. But before that, it means that there's nothing that should be put under the table. Initially, we have seen coalitions being drafted and no one respects them. We have also seen coalitions being crafted and there's another card on the other side. This time round, what Kalonzo Musyoka, Gideon Moi, Martha Karua and CRS Jirongo are saying is that those coalition talks will be structured in a manner that they're for the benefit of the people of Kenya first, then they are in a manner that are open and everyone knows.
So yesterday, just hold on, let's break that down because we're approaching an election, 5 months, 19 days. So there will be a presidential candidate, there will be running mates, there will be all these other seats,
yes.
the rest of the 5. So what do you want? Because on Kenya Alliance, you're saying that you're going to unveil your leadership.
Yes, we
that may mean a presidential candidate and a running mate?
Absolutely.
So when you're talking to Azimio La Umoja, what are you looking for? Because already they have their
We are looking for the unity of this country because that is more important than any other thing.
Not true, but in facing the election of August 9th.
You see what our detractors want to see. They want to see us join Azimio.
I am not
a detractor. No. I'm not saying you're one, but I know many who are thinking like that. But I'm telling you that as OCA, as far as we are concerned, we shall be going to the ballot to get elected. And in going to the ballot to get elected does not mean that it's a straight line. We can combine forces with people that think like us. That is what we have been saying. That important day when we unveil our leadership, unveil our symbol, unveil our structures, and deposit our coalition agreement as required by law. After that, then we shall now tell the people who have been approaching us. You know, OCA is like this beautiful girl in the village that every man is drooling upon and would want to marry. That's why you see them talking about us. So we shall tell them that now we are ready for marriage. But before you marry us, these are the number of goats you must bring. Before that, we shall not tell them anything. So we are preparing for that day.
Fine, I hear you. So those goats, what do they include? Because there will be a presidential candidate for sure. There will be a running mate.
How about?
I think you better give us a chance to say something.
How about OCA being the candidate? Presidential candidate from OCA.
Is that what you're demanding?
Yes, it will happen. Okay. It's one of the reasons that we are going for election.
All right.
Why not?
Gladys Boss.
Yes, I think all this is just big talk, because already we know who are the OCA, what the OCA leadership is. We know it was Kalonzo before, Mudavadi, Wetangula. No, I'm saying that was before. That was the leadership that we knew. So there's and Gideon Moi. Those were the people who are in OCA. Now you're on minus Wetangula and you're minus... Wetangula, yes, exactly. So now you are left with the original ones. Yes, exactly. So already we know what the leadership is. So when you start saying that we are going to unveil the leadership, you know, and we know what is going to happen. You are going to join Azimio because you have no choice. That is what we...
I'm not sure what Gladys Boss is saying is true. Because Gladys Boss speaks for the yellow fever. It does speak for us.
Yeah, no, so the thing is, that is all these discussions that you've been having is just to decide whether you'll get the running mate position to run as a running mate for Raila Odinga. That is what the discussion is. So we know exactly what you're planning. That is all is a discussion that's being held. And they've had several meetings. You've been having meetings. I don't think there is any hotel in any part of Kenya that you have not been sitting in to make these discussions. And that has been the one discussion. So I know on that day, you're not unveiling the leadership of OCA. You will be unveiling that which OCA principal is going to be the running mate of Raila Odinga. And most likely, it's going to be Kalonzo Musyoka.
I want to take this opportunity to welcome boss to OCA.
Yes.
I think she knows more than we don't, but I think
but
to just correct
it.
No, let me just correct her.
No.
I'll get back
We
to you.
are not going to unveil Raila's running mate. We are going to unveil the leadership of OCA. OCA is an independent coalition with the leadership that must be.
Okay, and let me just let him. He should allow me to finish.
Honorable boss.
Also, we listened to Kalonzo Musyoka. They are saying that we are talking to like-minded people. We are talking to Uhuru Kenyatta. We are talking to who? You can see that the one common denominator in all these discussions is Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta is actually the one who is running.
Okay.
But he's just going to have a puppet running on his behalf, whom he shall control when the person comes into government. That is a fact.
Okay.
Because why are we discussing Uhuru Kenyatta, yet his term is over? He's an exiting president.
We'll unpack that, but Senator, I think they mean the same. Senator Kangata.
Governor
Kangata.
No, aspiring.
Aspiring. Quite humble for you. But what role do you think One Kenya Alliance will play or should play in the
By the way, from where I sit, I strongly believe that Kalonzo Musyoka is a rational and an empirical politician. And if he is, he will definitely not join Azimio. Because Azimio is a trap for Kalonzo Musyoka.
A trap?
Really, it is a political trap. Why? One, unless something happens, Baba will pick a deputy from our region, Mount Kenya region. And therefore, it will be a downgrade.
Uhuru will pick for him.
Yeah, that happens.
Running mate.
So if that happens, then it means Kalonzo Musyoka will be displaced as a DP in Azimio. And definitely that will be an insult not only to him, but also to the people that he represents. Secondly, if he then is told, okay, Bona Kalonzo, you're going to get CS positions, remember, he'll be competing against 3 other sworn nemesis of Kalonzo. That is Ngilu. It appears Ngilu will not be re-elected, sorry to say. The impression I get...
Why do you say that?
So most likely she is angling for a CS position in a Raila government. You have Kivutha Kibwana, definitely, is angling for a CS.
Oh my God.
We have governor for Machakos. So you have 3 current powerful governors from Lower Eastern set to become CSs in Azimio, plus now Kalonzo. Yeah, that is not tenable. So there is every likelihood.
What should One Kenya Alliance do?
So there is every likelihood. There is every likelihood. The best Raila can offer, Kalonzo will be a CS. But when actually assuming, God willing, or assuming something happen and Raila becomes the president, that will not be delivered to Kalonzo. Or even if it is delivered to Kalonzo, he will be encircled by his political enemies. So for me, Kalonzo being an empirical and a very polished politician, he has no option but to come to Hustler under the set of circumstances.
For what?
I knew that.
No, for obvious reasons.
As what now? Running mate?
No, for a certain better package, which I'm sure we can offer. I can't disclose it here.
That pitch was...
yeah. Really? No, it is real.
You're in Kanu, you're not in Wiper.
No, we are talking facts the way they are usually presented in a political round table. Yeah, and when I look at the way Raila is pushing his agenda, do you know the kind of messaging he's sending to Kalonzo? I can finish you using these 3 governors. Of course, that's the message he is sending. So, how do you then...
Are the governors speaking as instructed by Raila Odinga, it's by their own movement?
Whatever the situation. Remember, they made a very damaging remark. They said that Kalonzo is demanding 3 billion from Raila Odinga. So, in the event, he then goes to Azimio. They will say, wow, we told you.
Is money offered?
And remember, there's also another danger that Kalonzo needs to take into account, which is, assume he joins Azimio, then one governor pivots back, let's say, to Hustler. Do you know what he'll be telling the people of Machakos and Kitui and Makueni? That Kalonzo sold us. He told us he will never go back to Raila. Now he has gone back to Raila, and therefore he is a sellout. He is going to channel some grievance against Raila.
That's interesting. But Senator, are you saying that people are paid for support?
It's not me. Me, I'm citing people daily of Monday.
Yeah, and since you're taking that statement so seriously, does it mean that it happens?
I don't know. Let me say I don't know. But I'm talking about a statement that was done by 3 governors against Kalonzo. And if Kalonzo pivots Azimio, they will just say this has been affirmed. And that will be very dangerous. So for Kalonzo to maintain his integrity, and I strongly believe he's a very honorable person, he has no option but to spurn any approach from Baba.
Okay, I hear you. Yet we are talking about One Kenya Alliance here, but it appears that Kalonzo Musyoka is the man in it. But Herman, you've said that the race is between 2, Raila Odinga versus William Ruto. Any other person either join them or go it alone to spoil. What role do you think One Kenya Alliance should play, and even as they go ahead with the activities they have planned?
Yes, and before I said that, a lot has been, things have been mentioned on this show, which we must talk about. People have said here, you said we'll talk about it, oh, Raila is a project, or she's saying Raila ni Kikaragosi. You know Kikaragosi, eh? Just let's just say that. Or running mate will be chosen for him. Or I find it very interesting, and a lot of dishonesty in this country. You know, viewers are early morning and watching us, and how can you use the word project and Raila in the same sentence, surely? When Raila is the singular most powerful politician in this country. There isn't a single politician who can match Raila in terms of political power and muscle. Let me tell you something, Sam, because we live in this country. All these politicians, none of them finds his space in the presence of Raila. These fellows tremble in the presence of Raila, all of them, almost without exception. Now, to call Raila a project, I find it really being very, very interesting and very dishonest.
Just before we move away from that, let's listen to what he said about that tag of being called a state project. He's been speaking about it on several occasions, including yesterday, speaking from Mombasa County.
Mimi niliajiri yeye kama waziri yangu ya kilimo. Alipoiba mahindi nikafuta yeye. Kibaki akamwokoa yeye. Tulifanya na Musalia Mudavadi, niliweka kama naibu wangu wa waziri mkuu. Unajua namna hiyo? Hata Uhuru alikuwa naibu yangu. So Uhuru alikuwa deputy prime minister yangu. Naweza kuwa project yake. Naweza kuwa project yake.
So, yes, Herman.
Yes.
Let me put it...
No. Herman first. So, what must Raila do? I mean, is this such a bad thing to be tagged a project?
No, to get support from anybody running for any office, every support is welcome. An endorsement is welcome. But project in the context in which it is being used, even on this show, it cannot apply to Raila, honestly. You know, a project, we know what a project would be. Uhuru was said to be a project, and that you would understand where he was coming from and the context of the time. But to get Raila, a man larger than size, I like Mother Karua was speaking in the vernacular, I think, on a show in this place here. I said, Raila is an election machine. All these people have learned politics from Raila. The professor of politics was Moi, and people have learned from Moi. Raila is an election machine, like Mother Karua said. How can you turn a man like that into a project? A man who makes other men shake and tremble in his presence. I've seen men shake, phones dropping down in the presence of Raila. The same men turn around to say Raila is a project.
Where did they tremble?
Some people have presence that intimidates other men. Some men are more than men. You know, even you, in your circles, you are somewhere and another man comes in and you see men almost fidgeting. And he has said nothing. It's some people. Every language has a name for such a person. Eh? You know that a man enters a room and you can notice a change in that room. It's like the temperature is changing because the man has entered. So Raila is gifted in that man.
Okay.
So to answer your question, One Kenya Alliance, I said it from the word go when they started. I knew it was a holding ground. It was meant to keep these people together so that William Ruto does not pounce on them. Keep them somewhere safe in some holding space, okay? I always knew Mudavadi would not fit in that space because he's a bitter man. He's an angry man. He's bitter with Raila. He thinks he has supported him politically and financially. I don't know how true that is. He's bitter with Uhuru Kenyatta because Uhuru Kenyatta must have given hints that he was his preferred successor. And then as it turns out that either because he didn't live up to what Uhuru would have expected and endorsed to live up to, but when it became clear he was for Raila Odinga, I think Mudavadi became so bitter. But for the rest, they have always been Uhuru people. And in the fullness of time, sorry for using this cliche all the time, that in the fullness of time, they will, as surely as water finds its level, you know, water must find its level. It cannot be in hills and what and valleys. Water finds its level. The level for Oka is to be with Raila Odinga. And we are going to see it sooner than later.
What impact will that have on the Raila candidacy?
First of all, it gives Raila the psychological boost he needs, that people, because people have been saying, you heard Moses Kuria in Thika Stadium saying, Raila without Kalonzo is cooked. In a sense to say, the moment Kalonzo joins Raila, is game shot, Toshagari. So psychologically, that's good for Raila. But in terms of the arithmetics, in terms of the number, it's not always as straight as that. Some people would argue because Mudavadi has left Raila or is not standing on his own, has joined Ruto, then he's transferring vote. It doesn't work like that. It rarely works mathematically like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's listen to something that happened in Tharaka Nithi with Deputy President and a host of leaders in that area. Listen.
Tunahitaji mashujaa ambao tutaungana, tuungane pamoja na Rigathi Gachagua, Alice Wahome, Musalia Mudavadi, Moses Wetangula, Kithure Kindiki, ili tuweze kuunganisha serikali ya kitaifa. Huyu muungwana si anatosha tufanye kazi katika kiwango ya kitaifa? Anatosha ama atoshi? Anatosha ama atoshi? Anatosha ama atoshi?
Ukienda na yeye Nairobi, usimweke kwa bench, kwa sababu yule ni mchezaji ambaye anaweza cheza katika position zote katika ambaye ziko chini yako. Kwa hivyo ukienda usimweke bench, mupatie nafasi ambaye inakaribiana na wewe hapo karibu. Wale wengine hapa chini sisi tutajipanga.
Najua ya kwamba tuko na watu wengi wanaotafuta kiti ya gavana. Si ni kweli? Nataka niombe Profesa Njoka akuje UDA. Nataka niombe ule ndugu yetu Bwana Kibunja akuje UDA. Wakuje washindane na Mudhomi Njuki.
All right, allow me to begin with Senator Kangata here because it's closer home. What's going on there? I know Professor Kithure Kindiki had been intending to run for governorship. Now we understand that he's being told that he'll be in the national front, and then Muthomi Njoki will contest against all others. What's going on here? What's the plan?
Well, I think there is no hidden plan. I think it appears Professor is a more capable politician when it comes to national politics, and definitely he wants to pivot towards that direction. So don't look at it to see if it is something planned.
So when he says that he's in the league of Rigathi Gachagua, Alice Wahome, Moses Wetangula, and Musalia Mudavadi, what does that mean? Because at the end of the day, we're looking at formations that will be going towards the August 9th general election. And one of the other things that people are looking at is position of running mate. Does this mean that the running mate will come from this list?
I am not so sure. There are so many capable leaders in UDA and Hustler who can become DP in Hustler Nation. I'm not so sure whether that list is exclusive. And definitely Deputy President is wise enough to know.
You fit there?
No, I don't. I don't. Yeah, I'm just...
You have no illusion.
I don't fit there.
Okay. Honorable Boss, what should we be reading from this when the Deputy President comes and says, this one is for the national politics? Or ingine wamenyane hapa?
No, I think before I answer that question, I think I want to respond to Manyora, what he said when he denied that Raila Odinga is not a puppet. And I want to tell him why he is a puppet.
What is a puppet first, in your understanding?
Somebody who's controlled by somebody else. They're not making the movements by themselves, yeah? Or a project, or why I call him a project. First of all, if you remember, BBI was designed to assist Raila Odinga be able to garner support by making sure that he had a prime minister positions to give out, deputy prime ministers, he can be president, Uhuru Kenyatta can be prime minister, then Kalonzo, the others can be deputy prime minister. That was the whole, it was designed to assist Raila. When the BBI rallies were done and funded by the state, they were actually supposed to be a platform for Raila Odinga to be able to campaign. When the political parties bill was pushed in parliament, it was actually to legislate Azimio, to allow corporate membership. So it was to actually anchor Azimio in law. And that is just to help Raila Odinga. The other issue that was being done in the political parties bill that was legislating corporate party membership was because at that time, Mudavadi, Kalonzo, and the others had refused to back Raila because they told Raila in 2013 we were in the CORD coalition together. In 2017 we were in the NASA coalition together. But when the political parties fund was given to ODM, ODM did not distribute it to these other affiliates. We've had Kalonzo complain in public. We had the other political parties complain in public. So as Uhuru Kenyatta was negotiating for these people to join Raila and to support Raila Odinga, one of the issues they said is this guy, when he won, he didn't pay us. So they told them, don't worry, this law will be passed so that you'll be able to legitimately have the political parties fund divided to you. So it was legislating against Raila's conmanship. He had conned these other affiliates of his in the NASA coalition twice.
Is it fair to say conmanship?
Yes, he didn't pay them, and they actually confirmed. It is in public knowledge that they complained that he did not pay them the political parties fund money. Yes, he did not, and it is a fact. They have raised it in parliament, they have said it everywhere, and it is public knowledge. All you have to do is look at what the parties have said. So it was, the law was being passed. Sorry?
Tell me about that event in Tharaka Nithi by Deputy President.
Yeah, what the Deputy President was simply telling, saying that we want to welcome any political bigwigs to join us. And he was explaining that that is why we get people who are thinking like us, who can work with us. And he named some of the people who have been supporting, who support UDA in central Kenya. So he was just naming.
So knowing, Honorable Boss, that an election for politicians is an opportunity, it's a job application, so you're likely to get it. So when you tell Senator Kindiki, leave alone this seat of governorship, come to the national politics, what's the offer?
No, he's telling him that you can be more useful working maybe in the executive, in government, to be able to support the government that he will form. You can tell people to do that.
The respect on if the Deputy President is successful.
When the Deputy President wins. When,
okay. I'll come. All right. That's your word. I'll come to you, Fred, but Honorable, Haman.
Yes.
Did I just call you Honorable? Are you running for any seat?
I am honorable.
What should presidential aspirants or candidates, when they become so, what should they look for in a running mate? And do you make anything out of this parading of Kindiki and the other four personalities?
You know, I have said before, so just to repeat quickly, you look for loyalty. The person who will serve you with utmost loyalty. You can't do this, they are not.
In this election?
Even in this election. Secondly, there is a politics. You consider a person who can bring political capital. If you're running for governor like Irungu Kangata, you can't get your running mate from your village. Then you look at the architecture of of the county and say, if I get a running mate from that other place, then he can come with something on the table. Those are some of the considerations. But for this particular time, to answer your question directly, you are looking at the role Mount Kenya is playing in both camps, the Raila Ruto camp, and you are beginning to accept certainly that it will be suicide to take a running mate, whether you are Raila or Ruto, from outside Mount Kenya. You may wish to add other considerations, Mount Kenya East, Mount Kenya West. You may wish to add other parochial considerations, such as that Uhuru will play a hand in nominating, but I see it as part of the game. Part of the game is that we are with you in this game, and we are playing it together, and of course, if you are playing with somebody in the game, there are certain considerations you make in their interest. That's what politics is. Having said that...
Do you see any of this being the running mate for DP Ruto?
It is quite possible. It is quite possible, but you see, if you look at Mount Kenya politics, to go and get somebody from Mount Kenya East is to open Mount Kenya West to attack by Uhuru Kenyatta, if you are Ruto. You make it worse by going to the Tharaka Nithi. The Mount Kenya politics and how people value others and think of others, if you went to the Tharaka Nithi, you are completely out of the picture. But let me comment on the people being told, come at the national scheme, national set. Let others become governors, you'll be minister, you'll be things. That is to assume Ruto is winning. And in my all honest opinion, he's the farthest candidate from the presidency this year.
What do you mean with that?
He's the farthest. The
opinion polls that appear to speak different.
The game is just starting. I don't see under what arrangement Ruto can win this president. And I'm very honest and I have nothing against him. I'm just saying the truth. So to be told, even in the Raila camp, let me read Ruto. To be told, leave this for somebody because I'm going to be president and make you minister is to engage in some daydreaming. But Muthoni Njuki is my friend, and I'm sure he could be watching. Let me tell you this, and I'm happy governor is here. As soon as Uhuru and Raila get this government, which I suspect, I strongly suspect Raila is winning this presidency, any governor in Mount Kenya will not last 1 year. Please make a mental note of that. There isn't a governor who will have been elected on the UDA ticket who will survive for a year.
Why do you say that?
What ground? Because as soon as...
But we have one who's going to be elected.
Don't jump out of your skin. Just wait. Because after Raila wins, the power he will wield and the leverage Uhuru Kenyatta will have in the whole game, in the political space in this country, they will want to do their thing the way they had planned with the handshake and the BBI. Nothing has stopped. By the way, Gladys, BBI is still on the cards, so it has not been stopped. One of the things they will do is to have complete control, including changing the constitution to do the things they think this country needs. Some of them I believe in. And in order for that to happen, players who have betrayed Uhuru Kenyatta, so to speak, will be the first casualties. The MCA will be worked on. And within 6 months, 8 months, a lot of them will begin pop.
That would sound very threatening.
I hope the spare Irungu Kangata.
No. I'll get to you. That would sound very threatening.
No. Yeah. He's saying that, I like him. If every Kenyan who is watching this show, if there's a reason as to why we should never elect Raila Odinga, you are being given that reason by Professor Manyora.
Explain.
Thank you. Thank you so much. No. By the way, you have done a very good job.
Senator.
You have helped us to show us the real Raila Odinga.
How?
You have shown that Raila Odinga is a vindictive leader.
Who says vindictive?
No, it is you.
Senator Haman,
allow me to prosecute my case. He has showed us that there's an evil intention by His Excellency Raila Odinga, once he becomes the president of this republic, to eject the so-called opposition governors for no good reason at all, just for the show of power.
For politics.
It shows that indeed Raila Odinga is no good at all for this Republic of Kenya. Because, look here, he is saying all opposition governors will be ejected. We had 10 years of Uhuru Kenyatta. No single governor from the opposition region was ever ejected from office. In fact, those who were ejected or even attempt was made, almost 99% were from Mount Kenya region. We had Mwangi wa Iria, we had Embu Ambora, we had Sonko, which was successful, we had Waitito, people from his backyard.
Okay.
So that tells you that indeed there's an evil scheme by the so-called Jubilee
Senator
ODM
Kangata, we need
to do wreak havoc in this republic by impeaching good-hearted governors who have committed no wrong simply by just opposing a state project. Thank you, Manyora. You have showed us the...
Senator,
No,
wait, let's allow Fred to have the final word. We're running out of time.
Yes, but a minute later.
But Fred, knowing what we know now and having watched the presidency of Uhuru Kenyatta and the deputy presidentship, if that's English, of William Ruto, and knowing, like what you've seen, parading of these leaders in Tharaka Nithi, there's the talk that a running mate for a credible candidate has to come from Mount Kenya, then what will One Kenya Alliance get if they go to Azimio la Umoja?
First of all, Sam, let me answer a question that Honorable Boss Sholei and Senator Kangata did not answer. What happened in Tharaka? What Deputy President did was to unveil his opposition cabinet, which will include Madividi, Alice Wahome, Wetangula, and the rest. Opposition cabinet. If you recall what Manyora just said, the BBI is not out yet. Now, to answer you, for us in Oka, we do have reliable team leaders and dependable team players in the name of Kalonzo Musyoka, Gideon Moi, Martha Karua, and Sarah Jirongo, and many more that would be willing to join before or after. Now, in our discussions with any partner that think like us in terms of ideology, we believe that we must come together as equal partners. So any discussion that is going to be done, as I said earlier, must be structured, must be open, must be honest. That discussion, first of all, is for the benefit of the people of Kenya.
Fred,
so
let me
in terms of getting... Let me just answer you. Let me just answer you. You can't make it easier than I'm making it, Sam. Because you are asking me about positions. We are not about positions in Oka. We are about the people of Kenya. That's why it's called One Kenya Alliance.
Which is fine, but the question I'm asking you is...
BBI was about positions.
Within your One Kenya Alliance, you have 4 political party leaders. You have Jirongo, who's going for a governorship seat. You have Gideon Moi, and you have Kalonzo Musyoka, and Martha Karua.
Absolutely.
It's only Martha Karua who is from Mount Kenya region. And they are saying that for you to have a credible candidature, you have to get a running mate from Mount Kenya.
Who are they? Who are they?
Who?
The people of Kenya...
You said that you're speaking to President Kenyatta. He's not running for president. You're speaking to Raila Odinga. He is running for president.
Who said that?
Said what?
Who said that you must get a running mate from Mount Kenya?
It's just been said here.
Okay. Now, when they say that, they are not Oka. We in Oka, and I'm speaking to you as somebody from Oka, what we are saying is that we are not interested in the positions. We are interested first in the unity of this country, second, in securing the lives of Kenyans. And therefore, in our arithmetic and in our politics, what comes first must be the people of Kenya. So in any negotiation, we negotiate on behalf of the people of Kenya, not on our own behalf. And therefore, when somebody believes that because we have got Martha Karua in Oka, then they can start imagining that Martha Karua only represents Mount Kenya, that is not true. Martha Karua is a national leader who represents everyone. As a matter of fact, NARC Kenya is a national party. The same to Gideon Moi in Kanu, the same to Kalonzo Musyoka in Wiper. So we want to tell our detractors again, as I said, when 25th happened, the volcanic eruption, they will be rudderless, visionless, helpless, and planless.
I see the veiled attack. I'm not a detractor. I'm just asking questions, yeah?
No, Sam, it's not about you. It's not about you.
Ask that question.
It's not about you,
Abraham is saying, I pity Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. He's facing rough time politically. If he decided to join Azimio, he will be following 3 governors instead of them following him. Is he accepting to be strangled by Raila? He should design his path, even if it means going alone. Mtu Imara, Oka will be finished as soon as they join Azimio. They are repeating the same mistakes and expecting different results. They should have played their cards differently this time. There's nothing different from previous formation they are doing. Raila is still a striker. Kiprop Kenya. A project tag on Raila Odinga is far-fetched. Raila is a powerhouse. An obvious proof is his dominance and consistency in the field of Kenyan politics. Mnaita Wang. Fokango is struggling to speak for One Kenya Alliance, but clearly his heart and soul is in Azimio la Umoja. Okay. Sang 2000. If you don't know when or why WSR, William Samoei Ruto, and Uhuru parted ways, stop speculating that William Ruto absconded. And if you cannot list projects from prior or current administrations, stop speculating who should take credit or failure. Okay, Agumba Steve, Kalonzo joining Azimio is more of a liability than asset. He comes with nothing, the same way Mudavadi went with nothing, except with Wetangu. Really, did you say that? The hustler, Bandwagon, must look for another term, not project. Meanwhile, without Ruto, Kenya Kwanza is nothing. Wow. Gichinga Muita. If Raila chooses a running mate from Mount Kenya, that running mate will not help him to get votes from Mount Kenya. If Uhuru backs Raila openly, the more he will lose votes in Mount Kenya region. Nyabil Oka, is that a name? There is a big reason why I love Professor Manyora. Ask me why. It's because he is telling the truth and can see far. I think it's high time Uhuru shouldn't be underrated. What will happen in Sagana 3 is going to shape the politics of this nation.
What is Sagana 3?
Thank you so much for your time, including the viewers for sharing your feedback. The conversation continues. We have a week that is promising to be full of events, including that Sagana 3 in Nyeri County on Thursday. Herman Manyora, Senator Irungu Kangata, Honorable Gladys Boss, and Fred Okango. Thank you all for making time for us. We'll do this again some other time. Bye for now.